Just on training camp, we've got a big camp, lots of players. We'll have three groups, Group A, Group B, and then we'll have a development group, Group C. Hawk and Paul will start in Group C just to get him up to speed here with his injury and get him acclimated and get him skating and get him working. Then eventually we'll work him into Group A and Group B. It's a competitive camp. I feel up front, on the back end, and in goal, there's a lot of competition, which is great.
We'll start with questions. Mike Zeisberger at NHL.com.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about what structure you like to play, what style you like to play. Having covered the last 3 rounds of you in your Stanley Cup run with St. Louis, it seemed like you were successful when you played north and south. You got into trouble when you played east and west. Is that more of a stereotype that people say that that's your style, or was that just a case of you do the best with which systems with what players you have, and what can we expect from this team?
Right. Well, we definitely want to be a north-south team, but there's some high-end skill here that more than we had in St. Louis. Not that we didn't have skilled players in St. Louis, but I'm not here to take the sticks out of these guys' hands, but there's got to be an identity in how we want to play, and we do want to play a north-south game. We want to be a hard team to play against. We want to check, and at the same time, we have some players and a bunch of guys that have the ability to score goals. But it's in the end, it's all what's best for the team. That's the most important thing.
Sorry, Coach.
Coach, you do have many of the same players as last season that were here. Can you speak to any specific differences that the fans will see this year with this team and you in charge?
Yeah, no, and they've had some real good success here, obviously, with some great players scoring and things like that. But I think overall it's going to be a different system, a different style of play that, you'll notice the difference. And we upgraded our D-core with adding 3 big defensemen back there. We're a lot bigger back there. I think it's really important to have big D, getting away, check, hard at your net, penalty killing, all those sorts of things. But, overall, we want to play a fast north game and get after it. We want to be aggressive.
Josh Clipperton.
Craig, just on your skilled forwards, you obviously have Mitch. What are you hoping from him, and how can you help him, regular season Mitch Marner, maybe translate that to the playoffs? Yeah,
well, that's in the past. I'm new here, obviously, and I've been around Mitch a bunch. He's a great person, and he's a great two-way player. He's been up for a Selke. He puts up numbers every year, and then going into the playoffs, it's building up to there. We're not there yet. I'm not going to focus on that. I'm focusing on training camp and instilling the systems and the work ethic and the battle that's needed in camp here, and to start the regular season. And Mitch is a huge part of this team, and I'm looking forward to coaching him.
Lance Hornby.
Craig, how many times did you write down lines, tear them up, start again, and where we see guys like Nylander and Domi play?
Yeah, there's a lot of that goes on throughout the summer and before camp, combinations and this and that. And again, things change. We all know that. But I'm gonna start Willie in the middle here in camp. And Max is probably going to be on his wing right now to start. And that's where we'll start right now, and we'll go from there.
Chris Johnson, TSN.
Craig, what sort of expectations do you set for training camp? What are you going to ask of the players specific to these next couple of weeks?
Yeah, competition for sure, I think, is number one. But also, like I said, we want to instill an identity here in camp is one, and 2, systems, getting them down. It's going to be different from them in the past. It's a new system here, and that's important. But I think identity is huge. I really do. I think, we want to be a team when other teams play us. Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs we're going to get this from them tonight, no matter if it's at home or on the road. So that identity is really important, and I want that to get after that in training camp. That's really important.
Luke Fox, Sportsnet.
Just a quick follow-up to that previous answer. Why do you want to start Willie in the middle?
Willie?
Yeah.
Well, I think that with his skill set, he could be a great transporter of the puck from our zone to the offensive zone. He's strong, he's big, he's skilled. Anytime you can get somebody like that in the middle of the ice, I believe that's a real important piece.
And then philosophically, do you like loading up one power play unit, or do you see the merits in having two more balanced units?
It depends on your team. I've used 2 units in the past for the most part in St. Louis, but this power play has been very successful over the years. I know you're going to bring up playoffs last year. Well, you can go into dry spells. That happens to every team. It was just the wrong time for them, but that's a very good power play unit. So again, we'll figure that out in training camp.
Matt Larkin, Daily Faceoff.
Hey, Craig. If you look at your goaltenders, Joseph Woll, career high in starts is 23. Anthony Stolar's career high in starts is 24. So I'm just curious, do you have an inclination yet on how the workload might break down between those two?
Well, you answered the question. They're both going to play more games than they have in the past. That's the best way I can answer that. And like I said, it's great competition, like Matt Murray's here. There's good competition in that. So that'll play itself out in camp, but definitely probably going to see them play more games than they have in the past.
Mark Masters, TSN.
Hey, Craig. What does a young guy like Easton Cowan have to show you at this camp to prove that he's ready?
Well, he's going to come out and, this guy's a worker. He's produced in junior, obviously, and has been very successful. But, the one thing watching the rookie games, this guy works. He's a competitor. He's a very competitive player. But in the end, he's got to be detailed. And, those are a lot of players coming out of junior hockey. They still have the junior habits. And he needs to show us that he doesn't have those junior habits anymore.
We'll do one final question. Rosie ODonnell.
Hi. Do you think that punitive treatment of players can be effective if they're not doing what you are asking of them, or if they're being obviously sluggish or making errors? In the past, I think on this team, certainly in recent years, there hasn't been a punitive element at all. Is that part of your coaching methodology?
Everybody's got to be held accountable, including me. And it starts with me, obviously, but I think, you can control 2 things, in my opinion: your work and your compete as a player. And when players aren't working and they're not competing, they're going to have an issue, okay? That's unacceptable, in my opinion. Mistakes happen, and it's all going to be suspect to what happened at the time and things like that when you hold players accountable. And to me, the biggest thing is when the players start really holding each other accountable in the locker room. That's when you know you got something.